Hi, Dale Titus here with 2-minute bass lessons. We're continuing our series today of talking about the modes, and we're on the 5th mode, which is the Mixolydian mode. Mixolydian mode, we have enough scales in our vocabulary that we can learn new scales by seeing how they're similar to other scales. And by seeing the subtle differences, it might help you remind or remember them when it comes time to perform them. The Mixolydian mode is very similar to Ionian mode, also known as the major scale. It's basically, I'm going to start on G on the 3rd fret of the E string, and I'm going to play the, here's Ionian, just to show you the comparison. Ionian, that's a scale we've all learned. Mixolydian, you change one note, and that is you take the major 7, which is the F sharp, and you make it an F. So it's got a flat 7 on there. And that's it. That's how Mixolydian is developed. Now let's go through the intervallic construction, showing you all the intervals, and maybe that'll help you remember it too. So it's got a root, of course, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6, minor 7, and then the octave. As I've discussed before, and I stress all the time, I'm kind of a broken record about this too, and that is, you need to know which chord or chords a scale will work with, or it's functionally useless to you. With Mixolydian, if we look at the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, the answer is revealed. The root is root, major 3rd, perfect 5th, minor 7, and an octave. That's the dominant 7th arpeggio. This scale works perfectly for the dominant 7th or dominant 7th chord. So a dominant 7th chord is notated just with the number 7 by any letter. So like A7, B flat 7, F sharp 7, those are dominant 7th chords, and Mixolydian is the perfect scale to match that chord. As always, I want to make sure you're not just practicing it in one area on the neck. So, after you've watched the video and you've memorized the pattern, be sure to play it all over. Play it on D on the 5th fret. Make sure that you can move it to any of the roots on your bass, and you can play it accurately. Also be sure you're plugged in so you can hear it. You need to sonically hear it and get kind of an identity to the sound. So you're not just playing in front of the TV with the bass unplugged and you're memorizing the movements, but you're not hearing the sound, and that's what's really, really important. So this is Mixolydian. Really important mode. I mean, you can go back to even some of the early blues bass lines that you've learned, and they're pretty much products of the Mixolydian mode. If you are improvising over the blues, the major blues, and you want to start kind of making your own bass lines, use Mixolydian. It's a tremendous scale for you to practice. Now, there's a concept in education called perishable skills or perishable knowledge, and what that is that as you're working on new information, some of the information you learned weeks back might die. You might not be sharp on it. So I want to encourage you to review all the scales that we've talked about on these videos. Go back and do the pentatonics and do the blues scale and do the all the modes up to this point, and make sure that you're keeping them all fresh because you're going to need them all in your musical career. So the Mixolydian mode, it's one of my favorites. Definitely a really dominant mode, no pun intended, in Western music. So be sure that you can play it all over your bass and you can recognize it by sound. So thanks for stopping by, and if you have any questions, please just email me at dalet@danabegoods.com. All right, thanks.